Perfect. All right, guys. So thank you for coming on the call with me. It's been a wonderful weekend. I have been blitzed by my kids. They are at a new level. They are now almost 2, and they're very powerful children when they are together. And it just goes to show that what we talk about is everybody joining together. We are also stronger together, which leads me into I've created that saying, and is going to be on t-shirts and stuff like that, which is really cool. I'm excited about that just because I really like that. And it's a great segue from that redwood tree post that I did probably about a week ago, where the roots of that tree, they spread wide and they connect to the other redwoods, and they only go about 6 to 12 feet deep, which is incredible for such a tall tree. I don't know if anybody's experienced the redwoods from out west. They are quite beautiful, and they do tower over everyone. So it's a really cool thing, and I like that analogy with how we are at the gym. When we do connect together, we become more successful. So that also leads to the topic of the call tonight. It's all about people, I hear it all the time: motivation, 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 motivation. And if we do a simple, I'm just going to quickly go to Google here and type in motivational quotes. And I'm just going to read a couple for you guys here, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. If you cannot do great things, do small things in a great way. Man, that is so good. Napoleon Hill, man, you motivated me. Thank you. Don't downgrade your dream just to fit your reality. Upgrade your conviction to match your destiny. Woo, that's a good one. Better go to the next one because I'm losing motivation. Keep your eyes on the stars and your feet on the ground. Now that's an interesting one. So if you look up at the stars all the time, you're going to miss what's right in front of you. So that one sucks. Let's see here. Yes, it's going to be hard, but it's going to be worth it. My point is, guys, I've got I'm going to share this because this is hilarious. And any one of you guys can go to Google and see, and just type in for a quick second. But let's share this. You guys can all see that?
Nope. Yeah.
All right, so across the top, you've got all these topics here that you can just click on. Student motivation, business motivation, strength. People make a lot of money off of this stuff, guys. This is incredible. And yes, we write them. Yes, we do them. And just kind of a cool thing to do. But really, honestly, they don't really do anything for us. Oh, this one's a good one. Being a true badass has no weight or gender requirement. Just 100% commitment to greatness. Now that alone is really cool because it's The Rock and he's jacked and all that good stuff, and it gets you real pumped up, but you'll never be The Rock because you're not The Rock, and you'll never get what The Rock has because you're not The Rock. But gender neutral, right? Like no gender required, no weight, no nothing. It's just, hey, if you put in the work, you're going to be pretty badass, and it is whatever you put in the work towards and what you've chosen that creates that for you. So where I'm going with this is just the fact that you can read these until you're blue in the face, and all you've done is sat here and wasted time reading them.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about motivation is, and I've said this before, and I always come back to it because it's one of those things that we see consistently be a challenge for people, and especially in the month of August, I see it. July is usually like a pretty cool month. It's a busy month, and then all of a sudden August hits, everybody books those vacations. They're gone for 2-3 weeks. They seem to take the month of August off. Oh, I'm coming back in September. I'm coming back in September. Motivation doesn't get you to come back at all, right? It's usually another kick in the ass by a friend. It's usually physically someone bringing you. It's usually a deal. Sometimes gets you back into the gym or gets you back into a program of some sort. Or it's just the fact that you never quit. Keeping that discipline. And I'm saying if you know ahead of time that you're coming into something that's going to bring you maybe a little bit further away from your physical fitness, and maybe your meal planning or even just eating a little bit healthy, right? Just stay consistent and do it a little bit. Like if you can't come 4 times a week, go 2 times. Just because the 2 to 4 is such a small jump versus 1 to 4 versus never going to 4, and you try to come right back in, And what ends up happening is this big speed bump hits middle of September, and you're just drained because you went from 0 to 100. And this happens all the friggin' time, is that people go all or nothing. And unfortunately, the nothing kicks you in the ass when you try to go back to all. So keep that in mind, that you just want to continue doing something, even if it is a little bit, when you know you're in rocky time, when you know you're in stress, when you know you're like, oh man, I can't do this. You can go to the grocery store like Allison is, and you can buy small things that you know you'll snack on. You don't have to go home and sit there for 3 hours, do your meal prep, get your crock pot going, get your oven going, get your barbecue going, and then you have them all burned. You don't have to do that kind of stuff. You can maybe go to the grocery store for 2 days, prep for 2 days, and then hit it up again. So the 30 minutes it takes you to go to the grocery store again later in the week, and then you do another 3-day prep, and that cuts the time down that you're spent for the whole week. And then by the time you get to Wednesday, Thursday, and you're eating the same thing from Sunday, sometimes you get bored, and then you just don't even eat it at all, and then you've fallen off track from Thursday to Sunday for when you decide to meal prep new food again. Allison, what'd you find? Oh, nice. Those are her eggs, her favorite eggs, I think. I think that's what, yes, there we go. So it's those little things, guys, that get you going and keep you going. You have to set a reason why. Why are you doing something? And this is the big topic that a lot of self-help books talk about, a lot of preaching type people talk about. It's not what you do. No one cares that I run a gym. Everybody, like, how many gyms are in the city? Has anybody tried to Google it? Lisa, have you ever Googled it?
No, but there's a lot.
All right, so gyms in London. Ontario, I should specify. Okay, so we've done this before on a call, and I'm going to do it again, and I'll share it. And it just proves to everybody that no one gives a shit that you run a gym, because it's not anything new. So this will pop up in a second here. Everybody can see it? All right, so this is just the maps of gyms. Okay. And these are just gyms that make it to the maps based on Google Analytics and important level and how many times you've been clicked and all that kind of stuff. All right, so we scroll down here. We're in here somewhere eventually. Maybe we're not, but look, there's 10 pages. I'll go again. Oh, next page. Man, we really fallen down that. I thought I got Allison working on that, but apparently not. But anyways, you guys get the point, right? It's why I do what I do versus what I'm doing that keeps me going, and it brings you guys back. So it's what I do that gives me an establishment to go to, gives you guys a building to come to, gives you guys a community to join, but it's why we do what we do that keeps people coming back. So if you can translate that into your life and look at things that you really enjoy doing, how easy is it for you to do them? Pretty easy, right? Like you would think, oh, well, I do it without thinking sometimes. I love doing it so much. Lisa, you love training dogs. Does it ever feel like you're actually working?
No.
And you just do it like it just comes to you, and you do it naturally because it's something that you enjoy and you learn and you're engaged, and it's like that great speaker is in front of you and you're just waiting for the next thing that person says. Mm-hmm. Right? Hopefully we've all experienced something like that, or that we're doing something like that. And it's usually a reason why. So Lisa, why do you want to train dogs when you retire?
I love them. That's what I love spending my time doing.
Is it the dog that comes to you and they're looking for that unconditional love, all that help, everything like that?
I just love just seeing, like, they're just such a smart animal, and being able to take them to not know how to sit on command, to sit or stay, or I'm doing trick training now. It's just to see them grow, and I love it.
So the reason why is deep, because it's long. If you think of the lineage of from when a dog is born to when the dog becomes potentially like a seeing eye dog and all the commands that they need to learn. It's such a long line of things that you need to go through, and to conquer those steps, it just keeps you going. You're like, oh, we nailed this. And I can attest to it with my dog. When I taught him to, I may have froze there. When I taught him to tap the crosswalk button, like when we want to cross the street, he puts his paw up and he taps it and it beeps and then he gets down.
Awesome.
Right? Or it's like we're in the park. I'm like, Parker, go and touch that tree and come back for a treat. So he'll tap the tree and he'll come back.
Perfect.
Really cool stuff. And it makes you want to do it again and again and again and again and again. And that's the point. So with health and fitness, you truly want to attach something deeper. You want it to be a bigger reason why. And we come back to this pretty much every quarter. We talk about a reason why we do what we do. And if it's something that you're looking to get healthy, or some scare in your family, or like I had this conversation while I was riding the bike on Saturday's class with Hawk. I think it was with Rachel. And I think it was Rachel. No, it wasn't Rachel. It was Maddie Grover. And I just looked at her and I said, it was amazing because I looked to the side and I saw Mary and Leah and their sisters, and they were doing these hop, jump, squat things. And then by the time they connected at the center, they gave each other a high five, smiled. And I know how hard of a time that they've been going through with some of their family stuff. But to see that, and I looked over at Maddie and I said, that's why I do what I do. And she goes, what are you talking about? I said, because those two girls came together here in complete mayhem. Their whole life is kind of like every which way. They're going all different places. They've got sports. They're trying to live their life and they're trying to take care of others. And they can come here for this hour, shut off, laugh, and be just together and smash goals out. And she looked at me and looked at them and just totally agreed. She smiled. She didn't say much, but I knew it sunk in. And I said, that's why. It's not coming here because you have to, because you're overweight or because you can't move as well. You have to come here for something deeper than that. Because at the end of the day, when we all look at ourselves, there's always something we want to change. And it always relates to what we're eating. Are we sleeping, or are we moving enough? It's not if we're lifting weights or going to a gym. It's just, are we moving enough, eating the right things, and sleeping enough? So we can all change those things. But when you come to an establishment like this, or go to a group that you've formed, or whatever it may be in a community, the why has to be deeper, or else you're just going to come and go. And that's cool too if you come and go and you don't find your community or your connection until, I don't know, maybe you tried 10 gyms before you found one you loved. Lisa, you've tried multiple gyms. Yeah. Allison, I think you've been to many gyms across the city. Christina, I'm pretty sure you were at them all last week. So it's one of those things that you find your community, they have the same thing in common, and we have a common reason why, what we do, and that keeps you going. And then the discipline sets in. Discipline is everything. It's the next step after your reason why. You have to set up a sequence of events that continue to happen in your life so that you can be super successful. So that means wake up at the same time every day, go through the same routine, try to do something that's proactive before you react to your world around you. So do something proactive for yourself, even if it is just stretch for 5 minutes and then go check your emails and your phone. Whatever it may be, that is something that you would start your day with versus being reactive, because reactive is someone else controlling your day. Proactive is you setting the tone. And then you go and you make your food or you eat the same thing, and then you're off to your next step that might be work, or it might be the gym, or whatever it may be. But if you can put that into place 3 to 4 times a week and it's consistent, then you're going to start building discipline. And then you come home, you make your meal, you sit down, you watch your show, you read your book, whatever it may be. Then you have to try to figure out, okay, have I eaten enough today, or am I still hungry? Because that's where everybody gets a little tight on the belt line, because they decide that they're just eating because. I'm watching a show, I have my comfort food, here's my bag of chips, here's my, you can eat 100 veggie sticks and be overweight because you just ate too much. So it's one of those things that doesn't really matter what you're eating, it's just how much of it are you eating, and you're actually hungry or not. So just be mindful of that end of the day to build that discipline going into your sleep, and then get your sleep routine down. I promise you, when you have a plan set up like that, then nothing else can get in the way and pull you aside. It's like, no, I'm good. Or when stuff does start going maybe a little bit to the right and left, then you're able to bring it back to center because you have a plan versus just following it and going with the flow. And yeah, there's this party I got to go to. I didn't eat prior to it, so I'm going to gorge myself at it. I'm going to eat the 3 slices of pizza, the charcuterie board. I'm going to drink 6 drinks, and then I'm going to go home and I'm going to see delicious food because you just had a whole bunch of sugar off the treat table, and you're still going to be addicted to that. So then it just snowballs, right? But if you just had that one meal before you left, you might be able to resist or have that discipline to resist going back for seconds and thirds at these parties and stuff like that. So there's just these little things that you have to put into place that can guide you along that path that helps create discipline. And the nighttime stuff is one of the biggest complaints. I eat too much at night. Well, you're only eating too much, again, like I said, if you're going over your calories. If you're not tracking and you don't know, it's one of those things that you're just kind of shooting yourself in the foot because you just don't know. If you can portion control without counting your calories, I think that's great. It's something that, you know, we all strive to do. But if we really have a goal and you're dead set on, hey, I want to lose 20 pounds, I want to gain muscle, I want to deadlift 400 pounds, you have to be as precise with your sleep and your eating as you are with that goal. So that creates discipline or requires discipline. Notice I haven't said anything about motivation in any of this. Remember, motivation left us the second I read that quote and stopped talking. It's gone. Motivation doesn't get us through anything. It doesn't work. It just doesn't prove itself in the long term. It's short-term fixes with a small Band-Aid over a large cut. And eventually it doesn't hold, right? Mm-hmm. So it's just one of those things that you have to just forget about wanting to be motivated and learn to want to be disciplined, right? It's not someone getting mad at you. It's you setting the tone to create that discipline in your life. You do not need to be restricted. You have to do the things you need to do on a regular basis so that your habits are set in place. That when you go and get tested to break those habits, you break them fewer than most, right? Like you just try to break, like if you have to break them, you try to break as little as possible. But it's okay. It's like bend, don't break, right? It's one of those things. But if you're just an easy target for all of your delicious, amazing food, well, then it's one of those things that you're going to have to get into control. And that's just, I think I'm freezing again. But that's just coming down to your habits, right? And that's a whole other one. We have a call that's on the YouTube channel, I believe, that goes back to habits. But I am currently reading this book, and I'll take a second to give you the title and author. Atomic Habits is the book. Okay, and let's go to my library here. Yeah, so it's Atomic Habits by James Clear. And it's basically just telling you or explaining to you that simple changes lead to a lot of good help or good results in your life or a different outcome, right? Just by making tiny little changes. Everybody thinks they have to go and change everything. Well, you can't. You can't change it all at once. You just can't possibly be in multiple spots, frames of mind, all that kind of stuff to change it all at once. But just doing a little thing, like if you think of an atom, the size of an atom, back to science here, teensy weensy tiny little thing, right? But if it goes off, it has a massive, massive impact, right? And then when you put a whole bunch of little atoms together, then they create quite the bomb, right? We've seen it in science. It's the same thing in our lives. If we put a whole bunch of good atoms together, meaning good habits or good processes, be very disciplined across the board, we're going to see exceptional results. If we put a few good habits together and a few bad habits together, we're going to receive the results dictated by how much of a good thing and a bad thing we have outweighing each other, right? You'll find yourself somewhere in between. And then again, if you're on the other end of the spectrum and you put a lot of bad habits together, well, they usually lead to a lot of things that you don't like. Usually lead to a lot of reasons why people would reach out to me. Like, for instance, today I was just speaking to a colleague, not even, maybe he's not a colleague. I used to be in the mortgage world and I knew him through real estate and that kind of stuff. And he was just like, oh man, I really need to lose some weight. You could probably help me with that. And And I just looked at him. I'm like, I know I've seen through his socials and stuff like that, some of the habits that he's gotten into. And he wasn't like that 3 years ago. Now he is. So it was just that combination of over and over and over and over and over doing the same thing that didn't agree with his body that he got to be in the shape that he is. So I'm certainly going to reach out and try to help him and all that good stuff. But again, at the end of the day, it comes down to just putting a whole bunch of good ducks in a row and letting them, go about their work. So motivation, again, guys, it's not there. Let's not look to be motivated. Let's look to set good habits. Let's look to set discipline in our lives, create that discipline, and challenge yourself. Give yourself something that's a little bit further of a stretch. Like if you want to lose 10 pounds, maybe go 12 pounds. Why not? Let's try it. Let's just push that limit. Or if you want to increase your workout capacity from 2 workouts a week in a run to 3 workouts and 2 runs. Like stretch goal yourself so that when you hit your old goal and then you can evaluate, hey, I don't feel that bad. I can do it again and again. And then you go. It's like the 75-day challenge. I had no idea that I could accomplish that. Mm-hmm. But I put my brain to it and I just said, we got to go. Like this is go time. I've set that discipline up. And I'm still in great shape. And, I've got lots of good success from that. And I've seen a lot of great things come from the people who completed it and who didn't. They've learned different things and we've inspired some people. So I think it's a really good thing when you start setting up that discipline. And that's where I'm going to end it. It's totally around discipline. It's not around motivation. The reason why has to be greater than just like, why? Because my friend said so. And you just have to put in the work. It's 100% hard work. Mm-hmm. Anything you ever got in your life that was worth it is hard. Mm-hmm. Right? It's not hard to go to the grocery store and pick up an apple. But to grow the apple, plant the seed, grow the tree, water the tree, prune the tree, keep the tree from the frost, from the apples dying. The whole process leading up to you picking that apple off the shelf is a process. It had to be driven from somewhere. It could have went around car accident after accident. There's so many different things that apple went through to get to that store for us to do it with ease. But it was worth it to someone, and it was difficult. Mm-hmm. All right?
Yep.
Makes sense? Mm-hmm. Allison's done shopping. Christina managed to stay the whole time. That's good without getting kicked off. Awesome.
Good.
And now it's time for sleep because I have to teach tomorrow morning. This week's all messed up.
Yes.
So I'm teaching Monday and Wednesday just because we got some vacation and I've got some of my childcare help away. The grandparents have decided, one of them has decided to, she had to go back and see her dad. So we are all good. So my week's all messed up this week, but yeah, I got to get to bed. So anyways, thanks guys for joining. I'll post the call and hopefully it helped.
Thanks, Corey.